Well, hello, and thanks for watching another episode of ARFCOM News, your twice-weekly dose of the finest 2A propaganda. Brothers and sisters, I have to start off with some profoundly unsettling news today. You may wish to sit down. Are you ready? The federal government has not been entirely honest with you, and what's more, their misdirection is entirely intentional.
Yeah, it's back the way you came.
I know, it may be difficult to accept such a shocking revelation, but it is true. The FBI has been lying about how common it is for armed citizens to stop a shooter. Now, I know lying is a strong word here, and you have heard me cite Hanlon's razor many times, so how can I be sure this is intentional, right? Well, because Professor John Lott already warned the Fed boys they were wrong when they reported that only 4% of the incidents between 2014 and 2021 were stopped by armed citizens. When Lott investigated the same data set, he found that 15% of them were stopped by armed citizens. Oh, and using the same definition for Lott also found almost 30 incidents the FBI hadn't even counted in their data. Math. Naturally, Dr. Lott notified the FBI of their mistake, but rather than resolving the problem, they continued to publish even more wildly falsified data with a report compiled for Sleepy Joe covering 2023 and 2024, which claimed not one single incident was stopped by an armed citizen, when in reality 37% of them were, and of those, 8 showed indications they would have been a...
This pisses me off.
And once again, those windbreaker bean counters undercounted the total incidents, this time by almost 50. Now, in case you're thinking Professor Lott is just a nutter or flat out wrong, you should know he submitted his findings to the same university that did the research for the FBI. Yeah, it actually turns out they don't do their own research on this topic. And the university confirmed all but 2 of those incidents that Lott found before they went utterly silent. Awkward.
Your every silence speaks volumes.
Now, I want to tell you why it doesn't actually matter to gun rights how often people use firearms to save lives, but it would be impossible for us to produce quality 2A propaganda without sponsors. So, first, let's pay some bills. Today's video is sponsored by Hornady.
The 338 Advanced Rifle Cartridge. Purposefully designed for hard-hitting subsonic performance, the 338 ARC delivers 1.5 times more energy than the 300 Blackout subsonic. Featuring the 307-grain Sub-X bullet in the subsonic line and the 175-grain hollow point in Hornady Black. The big little cartridge that packs a punch. The 338 ARC from Hornady.
And by Vortex. Vortex just released a new closed emitter version of the Venom Micro Red Dot. The new enclosed Venom features large top-mounted buttons and shake awake so it's always ready, and auto shutoff after 10 minutes to save on the convenient side-mounted battery. Find out more in the doobly-doo. People on both sides, whether they are paid hucksters for the civilian disarmament industrial complex or just honest, regular people who support individual human agency and fundamental rights, often use statistics to make their point. That's why the CDC got caught trying to hide how many times guns are actually used to stop a crime. It is true that guns are far more commonly used to save life than to unjustly take it, but I'm here to tell you that it would still be your right to carry a gun even if the statistics were reversed. Because it's about more than just the utilitarian argument that it's safer to have an armed citizenry. Otherwise, if purely utilitarian arguments were sufficient, then it would be okay to force everyone to stay in their homes from dusk to dawn every night, unless they can prove legitimate business. You see, that would certainly reduce hooliganism and maybe even shenanigans, but freedom is dangerous. We not only accept, but we lovingly embrace the fact that life is full of danger. We take responsibility for our own safety, and we make our own decisions because Americans are cantankerous bastards who don't like to be pushed around, and we own more guns than all of the world's militaries and police put together, including our own. Come at me. The GOA's attack attorneys are said to be somewhat housebroken, but if you forget to bring them into the garage for the night, you might find some Virginian government lawyers scattered around the yard in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Judge Patrick Yates of Virginia's 24th Circuit Court ruled their universal background check law is unconstitutional and has to go in its entirety. But the way he got there is kinda different. He begins his opinion by almost seeming to complain about having to do the Bruin test before he goes off in an entirely different direction and ultimately decides the background check law is unconstitutional because it forces adults under 21 to go through NICS for private handgun transfers, except the feds won't do a background check for handguns on anyone under 21, so that leaves them with no way to purchase a handgun legally, which would be unconstitutional, of course. And he decided the age part is not separable from the law because it would create a weird age-based requirement where adults under 21 can transfer guns privately, but have to go through a dealer once they hit 21. Ultimately, this ruling isn't binding on any other courts, but it hints at what judges are thinking about, and we can at least reference this case in future fights. As always, go to gunowners.org/donate and give generously to help hits like this keep on coming. The Associated Press appears to be insistent on burning what little credibility it has left. In a recent hand-wringing piece about how powerless the government is to stop people from making guns at home, they once again refer to police state enthusiasts as gun safety advocates. Of course, you gentlefolk know full well that Everytown doesn't give gun safety classes or advocate for gun safety to be taught in schools or really have anything at all to do with gun safety. Nothing they do has any relationship at all with gun safety. They simply advocate for more authoritarian laws. Of course, the real story isn't the typical hand-wringing, it's the collusion between special interest groups, state government, and printer manufacturers. What actually happened was that the Bloomberg-funded AstroTurf group Everytown threw a fancy junket where they boozed up the rich tech bros and government workers in the hopes of making it more difficult to make guns at home. But government has no business doing any such thing. They are explicitly prohibited from infringing on the right to bear arms. And while private companies like Bamboo and Creality have every right to design their products as they wish, they need to understand their choices influence buying decisions, and the genie is out of the bottle.
I'm in the mood to help you, dude. You ain't never had a friend like me.
We don't actually need to buy printers. We can build printers at home with off-the-shelf components. So if they wish to be competitive, they should carefully consider their choices. Maybe people who care about freedom are too small a portion of their customer base to influence their decision. Then again, maybe those people are far more motivated by their ideology and far more likely to make buying decisions because of it than other consumers are. It seems like one of those topics where doing nothing has no real consequence, but taking the wrong action can cause you to lose a lot of business. Who am I to say? I can say that control freaks are a lot less likely to call these businesses and demand restrictions. So whatever you're doing right now, please call and let them know these business decisions are not consequence-free. As always, be polite and concise. While you're at it, you could call and ask the Associated Press if their style guide requires reporters to euphemistically refer to gun control groups as gun safety groups, and follow up by asking if they believe that indulging in such semantic misdirection will increase or decrease their reputation for credibility.
Gundustry News.
EOTech is not known for muzzle devices, but they're launching a new silencer they're calling the Decibel line. It's chock full of the kind of features that seem to be real hot on the market right now, such as titanium construction, additive manufacturing, and low back pressure. Oddly, they used the terminology flow through, which I'm pretty sure is a registered trademark which belongs to Huxworks. Now, I'm not a lawyer because my parents were married, so my legal advice is worth every cent that you paid for it, but they might want to walk that back a little bit. Full disclosure, EOTech has sponsored some of our content in the past, but they did not sponsor this video. And now, for your moment of zen.
Alright, you shoot one round and then the shot's just raining down. You stick another round in the front of the barrel, and then you go ahead and fire that, and it'll shoot the empty case out of the end of the barrel. So you don't even have to pull that thing out. It's pretty cool. So, see? All gone. It doesn't really work the best, but it does work.
Hello, friend. Do you like pews and pew-related things? Would you like to help us keep delivering you? We literally couldn't pay the bills without our sponsors, so do us a solid and get yourself something nice from them. You deserve it. I love you.